This is the Let's Go Win podcast with your host, J.M. Ryerson.
What is shaking, you guys? Let's Go Win podcast. Welcome to a Tuesday tune-up. I'm J.M. Ryerson, and with me today,
your lovely bride, Lisa Ryerson.
Bride? So you've been a wife for a while there, young lady. But I could call you a bride.
Very long time, yes.
That long, but my goodness, maybe it's felt that long.
Feels like forever, babe.
But you just called yourself a bride, so obviously we're honeymooning still. You know what I'm saying?
How many years?
16.
Dang.
I know better than you do on that. Let's be clear. I never forget.
Mm-hmm.
June 24th, 2005. I'll never forget.
Funny guy.
June 25th. Anyway, today we are talking about, this is an interesting subject because you see this phenomenon a lot. And I would rather be wrong and win than right and lose. And this is, I think, in my opinion, going straight to the ego. So often people get kind of fixated on what they want to have happen instead of the outcome. And that's what this is all about, is so often I have been wrong and we've found a way to win, which is awesome. I would much rather do that than be right and lose. Like that just, but you see it all the time. Does that make sense?
Well, why can't you be right and win?
You can, yes, and that is a win-win. That's awesome. If you are correct and you win, that's awesome. What I'm talking about today is when you happen to think you're right and you continue to lose, and instead of opening your mind that maybe there's some better ideas.
I see.
Do you?
Yes.
So there's three keys that I think can help people to really take their ego out of it and really succeed in a way that maybe you are right and you win, but typically this is telling you, hey, let's check in to make sure. And the first one is just being clear on your objective. Where are you going? What is the outcome? I think so often, so let's say, for instance, when my head is screwed, when my wits are about me, and if we're in a fight, I can fight back and let that ego get fed and get that last jab in. And sometimes I do. Sometimes I'll be like, nope, I'm going to go ahead and get the last word in. I'm going to create hurt feelings on your end and actually make this fight way worse. Mm-hmm. Or I could choose to say, you know what? It's cool. Like, I'm just going to shut it down, whether I say our famous word of blueberry, or I just say, you know what, you're right. Regardless if I believe you're right or wrong, just shutting it down. And when I do that, when I say, what do I want out of this relationship? Do I want my wife to love me? Yes. Do I want to be in a fight? No. So maybe it's not time to feed my ego. So being clear on your objective, that would be my example. Do you have an example where you can think of being clear on your objective, even though it looks a little muddy and it's not looking the way you want it to look, but getting clear on your objective and say, look, maybe it looks different than I thought, but we still got there.
Yeah, I mean, you're a much bigger man than I am literally and figuratively, I think, on that, because I love getting the last word in. And what's funny is I'll get the last word in and then I'll blueberry it. And then we're done. Because once we say blueberry, for those of you that don't know, the conversation ends and then we walk away and then we'll come back later when emotions are more at bay, per se. But yeah, I think it is really important because, you know, you've taught me that. I don't have an example off the top of my head, but I know that it happens, you know, a lot of times, I guess, let's see here, in my daily life, right? In general, like if I am trying to get someone at the store to help me with X, Y, and Z, I just have to be super clear on that. And sometimes it doesn't look the way, you know, like I'm trying to explain something maybe, or I'm like trying to explain my side of things on, you know, a certain subject, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how I explain it. It's just like, okay, let's just get to the point where this gets taken care of so we can all move on with our day.
Well, for a type A person, you have a ton of examples, whether you're clear on that or not. Let me give you another one. She's about to go away for 2 weeks. Okay. Oh. She will be gone. Now, her house, and I say her house, I realize it's ours, but her house is immaculate. It is clean. You could eat off the floor. And I mean that figuratively and, well, maybe not literally because she might
freak out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But this would be an example. You're going to be gone. Now, I know the way you want your house to look at all times. It's not going to. So we're clear. But my objective is to make sure that the house is still standing when you come back, that it is in one piece, that it looks decent. But there's no amount of cleaning that I can do. I know this. I've learned this. I could spend 20 hours of a 24-hour day and somehow I still won't get it right. No, trust me. I've
Prove
tried.
it. You've never done that.
You don't know
Prove
that.
it.
You don't know that.
I do know that.
You realize my cleaning skills maybe not up to your standards. This would be an example. Mm-hmm. Or to those parents out there, you like to dress the kids a certain way. When I have the kids, or when they were younger especially, look, there's one job. I had one job, and that's to keep them alive, period. They're going to eat crappy food maybe that day. They're not going to look the best with their outfits. They're probably going to be late. But my job, clear on my objective as a parent, is to keep them alive. That would be another example. And I have many more, but just so we're clear.
I'm glad you have a lot of examples. It's great.
It's more just I know the long goal, and the long goal is being clear on what I'm trying to accomplish. So this will be interesting. The second objective, or the second thing that I would tell people to do, is being more receptive. And what I mean by this, and actually you do this very well, and you're doing it right now with the gals that you're working with, but the idea is that having more ideas than just one is better. For instance, having 3 heads are better than one is an old saying. That's an old Japanese proverb. It goes way back. And it's like, but you just think about that. 3 ideas is way better than just one. Mm-hmm. So being receptive to maybe my idea isn't the best would be the next example. And I can tee this one up for you, but you're doing it right now with the give back that you're working on, with Let's Go Give, with the philanthropy efforts. And it looks differently than maybe you thought, but you're bringing in all this other ideas, and it's awesome.
Yeah, it's been really amazing because I truly believe that when you put something out in the universe and you're saying, this is my objective, this is what I want to do, and then all of a sudden, like I told you this morning, like these humans have been dropping into my lives, like not people that I outreach to, not anybody, but they just come and they're like emailing me and messaging me and they're like, hey, we want to do this. Can you support us on this? I'm like, oh my gosh, I would love to, right? So we have a philanthropy club in our community that hasn't been started, right? I mean, all these women have asked for it. There's a list of, I don't know, probably like 10, 15 women on this list that want to be a part of the club, but nobody has been willing to lead it, right? They don't know what it is all about. They've never led a club. And so I got the opportunity to co-lead a club to support this other lady that I've met, and she's absolutely phenomenal, and getting to know her has been really fun, and just knowing her background. I mean, she has done so many fundraisers and gala events, and it's like, how cool is that? Because now I have somebody to bounce ideas off of, because that's my, next journey, is to do all these huge events to fundraise for cancer research.
Yeah, it's cool, and it's going to help a lot of lives. I mean, you're literally going to change a lot of lives. But being open to these other people's ideas, even though it initially looked one way. And that's the last point, is actually, I put change your perspective, but maybe it is literally just being more receptive, being more open, being open. I just said receptive earlier, but really knowing that it's going to change. It's going to evolve. So my best example specific to business would be Netflix versus Blockbuster, right? And this is the famous one that everybody talks about, which is, look, Blockbuster had the market. I mean, they could have bought Netflix for a very small amount, and they chose not to because they were the king ding-a-ling at the very top. Right. And yet Netflix continued to evolve, continued to adapt, continued to change. And now Blockbuster is gone, and Netflix continues to do that. And now they're one of the strongest companies worldwide because now they're making movies. They're not just streaming them. They're literally out there producing these things. And so it's just so interesting to watch in this ever-evolving world. And this is, I will self-admittedly, this is the one I'm working on probably the most specific with the world we live in today. Social media, okay? Not my favorite, but I've realized that without it, I can't get my message out to the world. Mm-hmm. And so I've really had to start to embrace it. Now I'm still trying to figure out how to set boundaries and things like that. But in the beginning, I just had such a fixed mindset of, nope, this isn't what I want to do. And I've had to continue daily to say, yes, this is something I really should look at. So when it comes to any other thoughts on really knowing that you have to evolve, you have to change in order to grow, because if you're not growing, you are dying.
Well, before I go into that,
sure.
You said a word, embracing social media. That's a strong word, JM. I like it.
I have literally been on TikTok. I have been on Clubhouse. I've been on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, all within the last 24 to 48 hours. Now, for some, they're
that's
like,
that's amazing.
So but actually, for me, yeah. that's more than I've been on Facebook probably in an entire month. So thank you.
You should be on the, what is that? The Guinness World Book of Record. For sure.
Thank you.
That one.
Oh, you know what? I didn't even say Medium. I was on Medium too.
What? Yeah, I've never even been
Twitter.
On
Dude.
Dang.
But not to totally derail this conversation, what I don't know is how to remain productive, because they're so easy to get sucked in or just time consuming when I want to produce the content, but I know you need to engage and see what else is out there. It's really fascinating. Actually, I want to do a whole study on this, and I want to do it in a way that, again, I want to be wrong and win. This is the case in point. Like, I am wrong on social media. I know that. And I want to win. That's all I want to do. I don't want to be right and lose, which is ultimately how it's felt for a while, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, this is something I'm continually working on. So any feedback, let me know, because boundary setting, specific with social media, yet getting your message out there, reaching more people, I need to work on that. So any thoughts before we kind of wrap this up?
Proud of you, bud. Very proud.
Call me bud.
I totally just budded you. Yep. Proud of you.
No, that's reserved for Dana. She calls me buddy, and only me. No one else in the world. I have to, quick side story. So one of our friends that we've really got to know well lately, she says buddy the way I say brother. I mean, she's the female version of me with this one thing, right? Like, she calls everybody buddy, and I think it's awesome because
she's awesome.
It's brother or bro, or everybody's a brother to me, and everybody is a buddy to her. And anyway, I think it's awesome. So, feedback. I would love for people to send it to us. Where can they send it to?
Yeah, info@letsgowin.com. Just email us anytime. We'd love to hear your stories, your thoughts, your feedback, anything you want to share with us, how you're right in winning.
So I'll end today with this. Change your habits, change your mindset, change your life. That's what I'm doing. It's on social media. Appreciate you all. Have a great one. Thank you so much for listening. If this content is delivering value to you, please make sure to subscribe, rate, and review us. That helps us build this community, and that is what we are all about. Building this community as big as we can, helping as many people as we can, and deliver as much value as possible. Be sure to head over to letsgowinpodcast.com for information on my coaching courses, and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn at Let's Go Win 365. Let's go win and transcend in life.
This is the Let's Go Win podcast with your host, J.M. Ryerson.